Hello, my name's John, and I'm a storyteller. I love stories. I hope you do as well. And I've got lots of wonderful stories to tell you. I've actually produced a website with all these stories on, www.biblestorycards.co.uk. You can see all my stories. I'm also a bit of a painter, and so I paint pictures to help me tell my stories. I hope you enjoy them. Hello, this is John with another one of my Bible stories. This is one of those best stories because it's about Jesus himself. And it's all about money. I don't know whether you actually have much money, whether you've got money in a bank that your mum has put in for you, or whether you've got money in a piggy bank, or whether every week your mum gives you or your dad gives you some pocket money.
Yay!
Money for yourself. That's what we used to do with our children. We used to give them so much money and we said to them, well, now save it up and you can buy whatever you like with that money because it's yours. You can do what you like with it. Well, when Jesus went into the temple, that's the sort of church of his day, he was sitting there teaching people when all of a sudden there was a great big noise going on at the other side. Because you see, the money that was given to care for the temple, to pay for everything, was to be thrown into this box, this big chest. And it was made of metal. And it had two funnels at the top like that. And when anyone came to put money into the box, it made quite a noise. And you can imagine that some people, because they liked to show off and pretend that they were giving lots of money, they used to get handfuls of little coins and they used to throw them into this money box. And when the disciples of Jesus, his friends, heard it, they said to Jesus, "Do you see that, Lord? How much money these people, the rich people, are throwing into the offering?" Jesus turned to them and said, "Did you see that woman that came in?" "What woman?" they said. "Oh, you wouldn't have noticed her, because she just came up to the box quietly and secretly. She was a poor widow. And she didn't have very much money at all. In fact, she only had 2 little coins left. That was like 2 pennies, really. But she loved God with all her heart. And she thought to herself, well, it's all I've got, but, well, I'm sure God will be pleased to have my money. So she quietly threw that into the offering box and walked away. "Now," said Jesus, "let me ask you a question, you disciples. Who do you think put the most money in? How much do you think they put?" Some of them put some of the riches that they had. The widow put in all she had. I think she was kind of trusting God to provide for her food for the next day and so on. "Who do you think put the most money in?" said Jesus. "I tell you, it's the widow. The rich men put in some of what they had. She put in all." Now, I want to tell you another story. It's an up-to-date story, really. It's about a lady you've probably not heard of, but I'll tell you her name. It was Frances Havergal. Frances Havergal. She was quite a poorly sort of person. She was never very well. Her dad was the vicar of a big church in Worcester. And she spent a lot of her time in a dark bedroom where she had terrible headaches and was quite poorly. But one of the things she thought she could do was use her talents to write poems. And while she was writing some poems, she was invited to go for a meal and an evening at one of her friends' houses. Well, the friends had 3 small girls, 3 daughters. And Frances went to stay the evening with them and have a meal with them. And these 3 girls, well, she started to tell them about Jesus. Tell them some of the stories of Jesus. And the mother of these girls said to Frances, "Frances, will you go into the girls' bedroom because they're all crying?" And she said, "I don't know what's the matter." So Frances went into their bedroom and she started to tell them the stories of Jesus and how, even though they were little girls, they could love Jesus for themselves if they just offered themselves to him and asked him to use their little lives for his glory. And so she explained to these little ones that Jesus loved them so much that he'd come to earth to die for them, so that their sins and their wrongs and their bad things could all be forgiven and they could know God. And by the end of that conversation, those 3 girls said, "We would like to trust Jesus for ourselves." So they did. And they went to bed happy. Well, Frances went back to her bedroom and she thought she would go to bed happy. But you know, she could not sleep. She was so excited at these little girls coming to Jesus that she thought, "I've got to do something about this. I've got to write something down." So she got a notepad and a pen and she started to write a poem. Now, this poem is in almost every hymn book of every church in the country. And this is how the poem goes. It's called "Take My Life." Take my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, to thee. And she thought, what else can I give to the Lord? I could give all my time. So she said, "Lord, take my time, take my moments and my days, and I want to just keep praising you all the time." And then she said, I could give my hands to the Lord. I could use my hands for him. I could write more poems. So she said, "Take my hands and let them move at the impulse of thy love." What else can I give to the Lord? She said. I know, I like singing. I could give my voice to the Lord and I could sing for him. What else can I give to the Lord? She said. Well, I've got a brain, I've got a mind, I've got an intellect. I could give that to the Lord as well. And she thought to herself, what else can I give to the Lord? Well, I've got quite a bit of money. I've got some jewellery. I could give that to the Lord as well. So she gave her jewellery to the Lord and her money to the Lord. Take my silver and my gold, she sang. And then she thought, that's just about everything, isn't it? No, I could give myself. So in the last verse of her hymn she wrote, take myself and let me be ever, only, all for thee. I think that's the best way to love and serve Jesus, to give him all you have and use it for him.